This video is made for adult collectors because wow, this toy is over a decade old now. That's better. Finding a good Arcee toy can be hard, and as I was making my 80s Autobot shelf, I discovered I needed one again. I wasn't gonna put the Earthrise one there because I don't like it, and I was contemplating 86, but it's never been on sale in my area, so she's always been full price, and I've owned it before, and I don't really want to pay full price for it again. Then my local place, Comic Alley Toys, not sponsored, had the Takara Legends Arcee come in, and I went for that one. I would prefer the Hasbro version because of the black on the joints, but I have struggled to find one that isn't eBay or BBTS, because shipping from both of those places to Canada is insane. This is Takara Legends Arcee, and it might just be the best official Arcee figure I think I've ever messed with. She doesn't have a waist joint, ankle tilts, or wrist swivels, but honestly, I still much prefer this over the 86 one. I wasn't a massive fan of the proportions of the 86 one. I felt like the backpack of that one, which was a similar size to this, made her robot proportions feel a bit too squished. Maybe it was because I was so used to the look of this one, and then looking at the 86 one, which is a partial of this, felt off. Here though, I much prefer this because the backpack feels more like design rather than it needed a place to go. The limb proportions are a lot nicer here. The colors are so vibrant with that powerful pink and those clean whites. She has a nice head sculpt too, with really good light piping that catches light so well and makes her glow, and she's got a nice pleasant smile. Expression on a Transformers toy, I would love to see that more often. Being the Takara Legends one, it changes most of the black to be white, which looks pretty good here. I just think the color breakup of the Hasbro one works so well with the addition of the black that I would not be opposed to buying this mold again just to get it. She comes with some extra weapons that she can't really hold. These hands are like my biggest issue with the toy. They have plastic in the palms that stop the weapon from fully seating in the hand, so they only sit this much, and I don't know why that is. I'll shave it down afterwards, but like, it's so strange. But she comes with two different guns, which look cool, and two clear swords, which also look cool, and the guns can holster on her hips. That's sweet. Her articulation isn't the most fantastic, as it's a toy from around 2013-ish, but it does some really neat things. So yeah, 2013-ish toy, 2013-ish articulation, but there's some interesting things this does. I was very surprised with how much the Masterpiece takes from this, because I don't have anymore. I used to have Masterpiece Nightbird, really like that figure, but it takes a lot from this, and I wasn't expecting that, to be completely honest. But yeah, it's the articulation. The head is on a ball joint. There really isn't much tilt going on. She can look up that far. She can't look down at all. You can sort of untab this if you want to make it look down, but that looks weird. Shoulders, they're on ball joints. They could do a full 360 if the backpack wasn't in the way. The shoulders can go out. They can only go out about that far, so you can't get a full T-pose. You do a bicep rotation. Single jointed ratcheted elbow for some reason that can bend all the way. No wrist swivel. No waist joint because for transformation it has to do this. Stay. The hips can go forward that far. They can go back that far before you start popping the torso out. And then they go out only that far. Is what you would say if this transformation joint wasn't here, because with this transformation joint you can get the leg to go all the way up, which is great, and it goes out and around the hip section, which is very cool. However, I don't know if it's going to scratch this paint at all, so what I highly recommend doing is if you want to move the hip out, don't slide it up on that. Shift it out first and then move it out. That way you're not scratching or scuffing any of the paint, but the hips can go out that far. You do have an above the knee rotation, single jointed knee that bends all of the way, and then the feet can go down and can go up, and like I said, there's no ankle tilt, which is like one of the few things this does better. God, I don't like this figure. But she's still pretty good posing wise. Like that leg thing, this right here, I think is super duper neat. Right, like from the front that looks strange, but from the side or from any other angle, like when I do the kneeling poses with her, her leg is sticking out this far. And from the front, that would look strange, but from like here, you can't really tell. And I quite like that. I like that a lot. That's such a cool little engineering step that I wouldn't have thought of. So it's neat. So yeah, she's cool. I really dig the way this looks and handles. The hip joints to work around the sculpt is still something I greatly appreciate. Her transformation is also really neat and clever. It's so cool that they ended up using it again. Now the transformation, again, shares a lot with the Masterpiece. Or the Masterpiece shares a lot with this, so I was very surprised taking this out of the box and reading the instructions going, I've done this before, even though I've never owned this toy. So to start with, what we're going to do is we are going to take the front section here. You're going to split the belly and chest section, bring the head forward and just sort of shift that up. Then we're going to take this whole backpack and shift it out like that. Take the arms, fold them up on these little armatures here. And then this, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but there are these little tabs sticking out of here that are going to sit over these. So they're going to sit like that. Now, when you are going into robot mode, they have to go around these little gray bits here. So you have to sort of like push them. I struggle to figure out where the tabs were when I first got it, so they're there if you also struggle with it. Then you take this entire front section here, you zoom out, you fold the head up, and that will sort of collapse into place. So no fake chest, that's pretty cool. Then you bring this section in and close that up. Now you want to take the hips, you want to extend them all the way out, fold the feet down, and they're supposed to lock in. Like this one locks in, this one just doesn't. It's just little, I don't know, it's just like that. Then you bring the feet up and they're going to sit in behind the wheels. And again, this is another little tiny worry I have paint scratching wise, because this is entirely painted in gray and you're about to rub it against this. So I kind of hope that doesn't scratch off in the long run. Also, you notice the wheels here, they do twist inward for robot mode. So if I bring the leg down and out and we compress the hip in, see the wheel is now on an angle? That's pretty cool. I think that's a really nice little touch. But let's get the leg back up in there. The arms don't really have a place to like tab in as far as I can tell. I just sort of fold them like this and leave them that way. That way they sort of tuck underneath and don't hang under or drag. Then you take this back section here, you fold it out, bring it down, and it's going to clip into the back of the thighs. Oh, there we are. Haha, I did it. And that is the transformation. That's it. It's really easy to do. I really like doing this back and forth quite a bit, actually. Just gotta make sure everything is straight and lined up. But it's fun, and like I said, if you own the Masterpiece, it's a smaller, slightly nicer version of the Masterpiece. Like, it's very easy.
That's a nice car mode. Sure, her thighs are just kind of poking out the side there and don't blend super well into the back, but they blend well enough that it doesn't bother me. The pink swooping into the white of the back though, that does work well. It does weigh like nothing in this mode. Like it's very light. That's not a bad thing by any means. It's just something I can't help but notice every time I pick this up. I'm like, wow, this is like a feather. Her weapons can store, the guns can store very nice and neatly underneath, and the swords can store either on the sides or at the top, though I prefer how they look on the top. And she works very well with other 86 figures that I think she's going to have a permanent place on my 80s Autobot shelf. I genuinely really like this toy. I like it a lot more than I thought I would because it's just a nice all-rounder. Is it perfect? No, but it's fun. And the Hasbro one you can get for dirt cheap if you look hard enough. As long as you don't live where I live. Can't find it anywhere. I do recommend any version of this mold if you can find it for cheap because it's really cool. But that's my look at Thrilling30 / Takara Legends RC. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.